our topic is going to be about Hispanic lives. It's been going around media about people beating street vendors and Hispanic people because of their language barriers. So we thought today would be a perfect way to talk about it because we're not going to stand for that. Racism isn't a way, stereotyping people isn't a way. They're human beings just like us. So today, did you guys know there was a street vendor attacked in their own neighborhood?
No, I did not know. Actually, I really didn't know that.
Yeah, so I saw it all on the media about people saying that like they didn't deserve that, like they didn't deserve that, like stop doing that, like there's no reason for that. Like street vendors work for their own money to feed their families. And do you guys know what a street vendor is?
Those are like the guys who, at least at MIT, I don't know wherever else, but I remember there were like a couple street vendors like near, you know, the ones near campus, and there's just the one dude and then the ice cream people. Yeah. I kind of wondered, did this have to do with like, I don't know if y'all have seen those videos, you probably have, where it's like Karens being like, we're in America, speak English, when it's like typically, like I typically find it's like people just speaking Spanish. And like, I just wonder if that has anything to do with it.
To be honest, like, there was an incident in Long Beach where a man was beaten to like the point of his death. But in Long Beach, that's normal because there's rival of gangs. Because like, if you really look past in the Long Beach history, it's always going to be a group versus another group and another group versus another group. And what's heartbreaking is the point where you see a video of a police officer literally beating on a man because he can't speak English, where you have the opportunities to go get a translator or have someone in the store be able to translate, where you have a family member literally screaming for the police officer to stop because the person is literally bleeding. And that the fact that is the matter that nobody's talking about this, like everything's died down if you haven't noticed. Like, the Black Lives Matter was treated like a trend. Hispanic lives never really got the light of the media. And recently, Asian lives, like that hasn't been brought up. And there's been a lot of different things. Like, there's a lot of things that's been happening. Like April said, she said there's people who literally go up to people and spit on them, curse them out, say because their language barrier is not welcome here.
I remember there were like a couple of events where street vendors would be made fun of for all the products that they sell, but they're just trying to make a living and provide for their family, and they would record like what they're selling, like with the corn or whatever. They would like, I don't know, they would make fun of them, but they're working very hard to earn money just to make a living. Even if it's small, they would be satisfied with what they have. But even then, when they're beaten down, then they can't do what they want to do and help their own family, you know?
I think if, like with what Pia is saying, is like these people are human beings like us, even if they do speak a different language. First of all, not all of them were born outside of this country. Some of them were just, you know, raised with families who were born from different cultures, but they're trying to, you know, the American dream, raise money doing what they love so that they can, you know, have a prosperous life in this so grand country. So the fact that we're like, you know, harassing them for doing what so many Americans are trying to do all over the world, it's very frustrating, especially when they are, of course, they are risking their lives, you know, being outside sometimes on their own. Sometimes I've seen people as young as me, even younger, outside selling these things on their own. Yeah, they are risking their life, but that shouldn't mean that you should actually go out and do something bad to them when they're just trying to make a living.
Yeah, like I totally agree with you. Like I see children like 6, 7, 10 years old trying to go provide for their family because that's what they were taught. They were always taught to be a hardworking person. Like, and one thing that's like I'll never understand is like, why hate on people's culture? Like Pia said, like the street vendors were selling corn, or like as I know it is elotes, because I love elotes. I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna eat them. I'm gonna be grateful for the food I have. Why should people be putting down, like, if I did that to someone, I would consider myself as rude and disrespectful to somebody else's culture. But what makes it okay to have somebody be like, oh, making fun of the person as they're doing their job? Because isn't that just rude? Like, disrespectful in a type of sense? Like, to me, that is. But, like, I don't understand all the stereotypes and stuff. I don't understand all of that. Like, I don't understand where it came from. Like, why did people have to turn into a place of event where they have to put stereotypes, names, or disrespect to other people's cultures or a person because they come from a different place, or their family came from a different place because their roots are from somewhere? Like Felix said, they might, not everyone is going to be born here, but many people are born here. Just because they speak another language doesn't mean that doesn't give them a right to have freedom. That doesn't give them a right to not have a freedom of speech. That doesn't give them a right to not be in America.
And to like look at it outside the lens of like race for a second, these people often work like, you know, service jobs, whether it doesn't even just have to be like, you know, like vending. A lot of them work in like hospitals. They work as like janitors. Imagine you drive up to like a McDonald's or your local hospital or whatever, and the person serving you is speaking with a bit of a mumble. You're not going to start screaming and yelling at them because you can't completely understand. You're going to take your time and be patient. So why is a difference in race or a difference in language changing the way we act with certain people? It's very frustrating, honestly.
Yeah, like with language barriers, I hate it when people say, oh, we're in America, speak English, or go back to where you came from. But schools, they implement different languages in this, like in the education system. So of course, they would want to learn a new language, and I'm sorry, you can't speak a different language, and if you could only speak English, but you have to accept that this is America, is like, I guess, this melting pot, or known as the salad bowl. So we're gonna have different like cultures and communities and stuff like that. If we can't come together or become one and unify, then we're not gonna like be good overall. You know what I'm saying?
We went from segregation to being able to walk in school hand in hand with other people, to have that freedom, to have that education, to have that, like what Pia said, that language, that new language we're gonna learn. Like, I had to take Spanish. I took 4 years of Spanish. Was I good at it? No. No, not at all. But schools are telling us to learn, and it's not a shame to be trying other people's cultures. Like, if you're trying their food, that's awesome. Many cultures' food is great. But there's no reason to be so disrespectful to the point where you're literally harassing, assaulting, or even killing people.
I got a question, because I don't understand why, like when Hispanic people immigrate to America, why are they called like criminals or any like drug lords or whatever? Because I don't know the history behind that.
From what I know, at least when it comes to like things like criminals and drug lords, a lot of criminals, because you know a lot of like the drug industry happens to be in like Central South America. Like, we can't deny that at all. So a lot of drug lords and people who possess drugs, they often hop the border from their own country to like usually the United States. Same with criminals, to avoid prosecution, because obviously the laws in our country are not affected by the laws of another. Of course, that's simply a stereotype. Not every person who seeks to cross the border from their country into our own, even if it seems to be illegal, isn't necessarily doing an illegal act to get to our side, you know, to our country. But there is like some kind of connection with like drug lords and like hopping the border. Of course, not every person who does it is a bad person.
And then they would always, I don't know, like many Americans, or I don't know how to pronounce the word, but it starts with the N, like Navitas or whatever. They would always say that they're invading the country and like they're stealing jobs from them, but they're very hardworking from what I know. And when they do cross the border, they try to apply for a job, so of course they could provide for their family and earn money. But they would say that, oh, they're stealing our jobs, they're gonna make our economy worse. But immigrants made up the economy, if you guys didn't know. And like, I don't know, it irritates me.
I also absolutely hate that argument. The whole like, oh, they're stealing our jobs. First of all, if they really were taking our jobs, the unemployment rate would not be like it is right now. Like in any sense, I wouldn't know if it would be higher or lower, but it wouldn't be what it is right now. Second of all, think about the average white American job, right? Usually you got like an office worker, someone who works at like in tech or something like that. Now think about the average like of course not all Hispanics work in these fields, but think about the average Hispanic person, the job they have. They're farmers, they're nurses, they're construction workers. They go into fields that not every person would automatically off the bat want to do. How many kids do you know when you ask them, hey, what do you want to be when you grow up? And they say a landscaper. Not many, but if you think about it, landscaping and things like that are so important to the average American that we value jobs like that. So it doesn't make sense how we're going to say, oh, these people are stealing our jobs when we're not even taking the jobs ourselves.
You took the words right out of my mouth, Felix. And like what Pia said, immigrants made the economy, but they're taking jobs that people don't want to do. Like, if you want to argue, let's argue. Because I'm going to tell you, there's people working all around shifts to pick our food. There are people working 9-to-5 jobs to build things. There's people working in COVID currently. But I don't get, like, where did that even argument come from? Like, where did that even come from, first of all? Because all I've known, people is to be a hardworking person. Hardworking people, and just like the whole community part.
But with the farmers, like farming takes a lot of time, and even like it's not always gonna work out the way they want it to, but they're providing food for us. And if we're gonna get mad at all of the Hispanic people for taking their jobs, take them, be more qualified to do the job. And they provide us food, and if we're gonna get mad, make your own farm, give us food, or I don't know, start your own company, because you can't be mad at them for trying to help America. They're giving us food, they're helping with the economy, and if you're just gonna be a freaking couch potato, then so be it. But you can't be mad at them because they're working harder than you and you're getting mad about it. Like, I'm sorry. Be more productive with your life, you know?
You know what I just realized? I was just thinking about it while you were talking. It's like these jobs, these are very important jobs to human life in general. Like, we wouldn't be here without like construction workers, we wouldn't be here without landscapers, we wouldn't be here without farmers, all that kind of stuff. But you know what? It's also because we deny these people a college education. Like, of course, we need people for these jobs, but they got denied a college education. You're like, they're like, you know what? I'm going to find a way around this. So they do other important things for us. Like, you can't blame them for doing things that are, of course, are important, but require less education, and then not give them the education that you so rightfully think that they need. You know what I mean? I was just thinking about that while you were talking, Gia.
Sometimes when they don't have an education, like, yeah, I do agree with what you're saying. They find the resources that best fit them, even if it's not with their academics. They do stuff a lot with their hands rather than like learning. They're still learning something, even if it's just with the environment or with agriculture or with landscaping. They're still learning and contributing to society. And though they're not like getting an education, they're still helping us, even if it's not like educational purposes.
And if you agree with us, leave us a comment down below and tell us what your thoughts are about this topic. Is it heartbreaking? Is it horrible to you? What's your opinion on it? We want to know from you. We want to hear from you. And that's it for today. Don't forget to subscribe us on YouTube. Don't forget to like and comment on Project Batu and Club Stride to see more of our faces. We'll see you guys soon. Bye, guys.